Hello everybody. We have not done a video in a little while, so we figured we'd sit outside today from sunny Forest Park, Georgia, where we are currently living for furlough, and do an update video.
I grew up in that house.
This is my wife's home. Well, not her home, where she grew up. Her mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, where she grew up. So, her mom let us stay there for a couple weeks while we get settled as we make the next transition in our furlough. So it's a noisy, busy road out here, just like back home, kinda. Back home, like Puerto Rico. So we might get some noise, but this just for a fair warning, this video may wax long as we go on. We don't know yet, but we got us some good Southern sweet tea and whatever you're drinking, coffee beverage from the Keurig machine.
DIY version.
Yeah, just fun. We make those all the time now. Coffee life. So it might be a little long. We might ramble. We might not. We'll see. Because we haven't done a video in like a month, so a month and a half. So we might take a minute. So just beware. You might be in for one today. But thanks for watching. All right. So
what have we been up to? We haven't done a video since Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, right? All right. So let's start at the beginning. Go back to the beginning.
So,
like
for those who either haven't gotten our prayer letter or didn't see the update that we are going to be in the States for a year.
Yep.
We're going to go ahead and take the full year to do our, what some people call stateside assignment or furlough.
Furlough is the normal word for that.
It's a weird word because it's not actually a break from your work. It's actually just doing the other side of your work as a missionary. As a missionary, you have your calling, your ministry that you have done, whether that be in church planting like we are, or whether it be something else. And so that is where you are, whether you're overseas or whether you're in a different country, whatever it may be. And then you have your stateside assignment, and that includes your training, that includes your rest, that includes your
partnership development, raising new support with new partners, things like that, as your ministry grows and your family grows.
Medical needs that may arise.
Yeah, needs that change. Yep.
I think I mentioned additional training as well. That may be with your organization. It may be on your own. It may be counseling. It may be going back to school. It may be just medical things. And then also taking care of family, and whether you have aging parents or whether you have your own family needs that may not fall into one of the other categories. Yeah. And then spending time with family, because you usually miss holidays while you're overseas and or even locally. And so that is, it's not a break. And then doing that, you're usually still maintaining your ministry that you left, but you're also working on this side of it. And so you're taking care of the things that keep the ministry running for longevity and vitality. Yeah,
so like in our case, this is our first full-length furlough ever. We've never taken a full year. A lot of people think, oh, you come on furlough, you're going to be, hitting the ground running, going to all these churches, and we're like, no, we're not. We're not doing that this time around, because that's not the first. That is not the first priority. We mentioned this before. Our first priority was to make sure we had in order. What is that? Scooters. Big tired little scooters with big guys on. Sorry, anyway.
Distraction.
I feel like we're back at home. Yeah. Oh, look, here's another one. I feel like we're in Puerto Rico.
We'll get to that in a minute. There's been some things that have been the same.
Yeah. Anyway.
So the first thing we did though was to rest.
We mentioned that. We took a month in Pennsylvania to rest.
That's where we were.
Take time off. We were doing some training as part of that, but mostly just sit still for a while, process some things. So that our priority right now really is it's prepping for the next steps was one of the big things. What is our plan? What's next for us before we go back to Puerto Rico? And also how do we get there? Whether it's partnership development, how are we going to do that side of things? Is completely different than it was last time. Where do we need to be personally to make sure when we go back to the field we're healthy in all areas? Family development, all those kind of things along the way. And I won't go into all the details with that, but it's multifaceted. And then on top of that, we make sure we are reporting to our church and things like that, making a plan for that to make it to where we're not simply running all over the country the whole year. We're exhausted by the time we get done. We go back to Puerto Rico more tired than when we got here, no better off spiritually or physically than when we got here, or mentally or anything else, going back with more weight now and trying to do the same work, but now more tired than when you left. That serves no purpose. Many missionaries do that, and unfortunately it's not grace-paced at all for them, and we've done it before, and we intend to do it differently this time. So not like we're sitting around doing nothing. What we're doing is planning, and in planning better, are able to utilize our time and our energy in a better way.
And resting and refueling. So before we could do any of the planning, before we could even get into ministry, we knew that we needed to rest. Even since Hurricane Maria, we had never really taken a lot of time off other than maybe a week or so in a family vacation. And I don't know how many of you guys feel this way, but taking a week never really feels like quite enough. And when you try to take a vacation on your field, it's almost like trying to take a vacation at your workplace. And so it doesn't,
you're still there.
You don't quite disconnect the way you need to. And outside of coming stateside for my stepfather's funeral for a couple of weeks, which was also still quite intense.
Certainly not a rest.
We hadn't really ever taken that time. So we took a month and we did some reading. And these were strategic recommended books by our agency and member care department.
Yep.
And also debriefing. If you're not familiar with it, it's almost like a soldier when they come off the field. They need to go through this thing to process everything that they've been through, to give everything a name, to process how you feel about it and things like that. So that was all part of the process of what we're doing. We had to rest and refuel way before we can take steps forward.
Yeah, so we did that. Then we went to training, which was in New Hampshire. 10 days?
10 days.
Yeah, it felt like a lot shorter. They basically, it's one of those things where you feel like you're drinking from a fire hydrant, but so it was really good. So
10-year-old missionaries need training.
Garbage truck.
Yeah. Why would missionaries?
10-year-old missionaries.
10-year.
Veteran missionaries
need training.
Well, for one, we joined a new organization last year, and their philosophy is very different than what we're used to in a lot of ways. One of the first thing to do is the first 3 days of training, orientation. This is our foundational principles as a board, and this is how we intend to serve you and make sure we're in agreement and in alignment on those things. This is what's important to us. Things like being theologically anchored, missiologically aligned, cooperation with others. How does that look to them? And they want to make sure, another garbage truck.
Make sure everybody's on the same board. So it's not to say that our prior organization was wrong. It's just to learn the new foundational, missional philosophies of the new organization, which is important, right? For everyone that goes into, when you switch companies, you have to go through orientation.
Yeah.
And then after that, it becomes intentional training with partnership development and with...
that was kind of fun, yeah. So 2 days of our training, speaking of, we did what's called SRS Boot Camp. And if you've never heard of the ministry...
truly a boot camp.
It is... Support Raising Solutions, but it's changed the name now to VIA.
What were we, like 8 hours a day?
It was 2 8-hour days of, we'd already done 40 hours worth of prep work, and then we did 2 days of practice, where we sat down and practiced making phone calls and how to have a meeting and how to show your video, not your video, but present your ministry to individuals. Because as we mentioned a couple of times, we're not just going to be going to churches this time. We believe in the local church to support missionaries. We also believe a church is made up of individuals, and not everyone will be in a church that supports us. We know a lot of people in different churches that we wouldn't be aligned with the church, but we know the families or the people in the churches that would be willing to take part in our ministry and partner with us. So a lot of our time we spent with them, so it was teaching us how to present the ministry in that way, and then, along with the churches. So we spent 2 days practicing that. You saw there in our prayer one of the pictures of Kristen making a phone call and things like that she did. And
they also teach you how to make it a true partnership, like for it to be a two-way thing. How to basically tide your time back to them. They're investing in you, and then you are also taking time to invest in them. What are their prayer requests like, to make it a true, just a partnership. Like I said, you're walking hand in hand, because without that partnership, we can't do what we do, and their investment is for God's glory. Yeah. And so it's a beautiful thing. Really.
We don't like to use the word donors. We don't really like to use the word supporters, although it is support both financial as well as prayer and spiritual support for us. But really, the word partner, we're trying to make partnerships, partnership development. And so, as we mentioned throughout the next couple of months, we're saying we're doing meetings. We're developing partnerships with individuals and with churches that will allow us to continue the ministry. So we're kind of using wording that may not be the normal with that, as you've heard before, but that's what we're talking about. So if you haven't heard that, that's what we're talking about. We did that, and a couple more days after that, that was actually, we were like, this is going to be hard. It was actually really fun.
It was fun.
It's led by a guy, Ken Dady, who's been doing this for many years with Word of Life. He did a really good job with the class. There were lots of chocolate, fidget spinners and markers. They made it very interactive. We really enjoyed it. And so if you are a missionary watching this and you've never If you've never read, I recommend read the book The God Ask. And if you want to understand what we're talking about, read the book The God Ask. And then if you're looking at being some sort of fundraising or partnership development for yourself, for your ministry, then look into one of these boot camps, because they're really, it was kind of fun. It was really helpful to us.
So,
we learned a lot of new things with that.
I guess fast forward a little bit.
We
More
didn't finish
training.
the rest of training, yeah.
The rest of training was basically just safety and security.
Practical stuff.
There's some people that are in difficult areas and they need protection. And then they even worked with the kids. They had sessions for them about transitions, also situational awareness, and how to be safe in certain areas. There was things like music and up-to-date technology and using a ministry, and it was just all very, very practical.
And also how to serve when you go to churches.
Yes,
you know, I mean, okay, so it sounds the same as what we heard before when we were on deputation. You go to the church and you serve, and this is a little insight thing. They may or may not know this. I'll just be honest about it. But honestly, what we heard before was serve in the churches so you impress them, so they'll support you. That was the way it was taught. Now you say, well, that's not really the way. Yeah, that's the way it's taught to missionaries a lot of times.
At least the way we understood.
Come early, stay late, serve. The goal is to receive a partnership, a support from that church, because you're going to impress them with everything you do. You know, your clothes are perfect, your shoes are polished, your presentation is neat, and you're working to help in whatever ministry is there. Because it's almost like a competition between missionaries. You've got to be the best of the missionaries to get the partnerships. Yes, we believe in giving it our best and doing our best with what we are, but we also believe in being who we actually are. And having a servant's heart and going places to serve, whether it's a church or a family or anything else, being generous, whatever it might be, doesn't look the same for everybody. And we're not all called to the same ministries. Like, not everybody's called to go do children's ministry. So just because the church needs somebody to do children's church doesn't mean everybody can go do it. Just because everybody needs somebody to sing doesn't mean you should go sing, you know, things like that. But you should serve where your talents are in the churches. And really just with a servant's heart behind that. It's not about whether they support you or not. It doesn't really matter. And again, some might say, well, that's not exactly, you know, the way it should be, but that's what it ends up being a lot of times. It's work-based. If you do the right things, the support will come, and that's not how it works. If we serve others with a heart of love and a heart of humility, God will take care of the rest, because no matter where we are, we're supposed to serve like Christ served. So it was some of the same ideas, but with a very different mentality, very different mindset than what we may have got. And again, if somebody disagrees with that, that's fine. Maybe people are being taught differently now, but that's just kind of, it's been a few years. So
that's why I say the way we understood it, at least, it might have never been necessarily taught from that perspective. It's just the way we understood it.
Not against anybody there. Again, if I misinterpreted, I'm sorry. But
one of the differences is that we, I think we were generally sincere overall. We tried to be, because there was almost like this expectation of you need to be able to stand out, you need to be remembered. But it's just a reminder as part of this training to really just serve because God is the one who gets the glory for this, and to serve not just in a church, in your town, in your home, whether you're pumping gas or whether you're doing something, to just be aware and using every opportunity to be able to reflect God's love and to share Christ. And why not, right? And it's not for any personal gain, because God is sovereign and He knows and He can take care of your needs. And so if you're not dependent on every situation to take care of your needs, then you can just serve from a place of freedom and from rest and from grace.
Yeah,
and
grace.
So that was a really amazing
Serving in a heart of grace, that God is in control and not us. And what we do really is not going to change the outcome one bit. We're totally dependent on God, because we ought to do to our best of our ability, serve with ethics and with excellence, but the rest is up to God.
Certainly
we're simply
not
called
out of fear or
to
force
serve. It's not
or anything else.
Trying to impress people will not
Pressure.
actually, you know, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah. So we spent May in Pennsylvania for rest. June, we spent the majority of it in training.
Yeah, then we went up and did a couple of meetings,
then,
met family in New Hampshire while we were up there. Stayed. I got to meet Jeff and Julie, get to know them a little bit, who are some of our staff at the mission board, and they are going to be helping us through they're our mobilization coordinators. Mm-hmm. They're really nice
we'll be
families
doing marital
up there.
counseling through them as well to make sure we have a healthy, vital marriage.
They care about
vibrant
those things
marriage,
as well.
I guess. And then for longevity, because you know, if you don't have a healthy marriage, all missionaries, all couples need this, and so why wouldn't anybody in ministry need it too?
So they're walking with us over the next year, but we got to spend some time with them, and they were just a really sweet family we got to know. And he looked at me, he says, "You're me 10 years ago." I'm like, and the more I get to know, I'm like, "Yep."
True.
Everything about this guy, I'm like, I'm just like you.
It's
But he's like, "Yep, 10 years ago." So I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah. So got loved on by them for a while. And then we had a few partnership meetings. We went up to Maine for the weekend, and then came down to Rhode Island.
Went through
and
Boston,
then,
all the cool stuff up north while we were there.
Saw
you know,
DC, showed the kids
went
like
to Harvard.
MIT.
And by Harvard, yeah. So you can say it like a Yankee, but anyway.
Yeah, we drove around downtown DC. It was raining, so we didn't really stop yet.
And then we descended made our
Georgia.
descent back to Georgia.
So beginning of July, we landed in Georgia, and then yeah, and then
we drove. We didn't fly.
We've been at my mom's house, and then we started the house hunt. And
that was long.
Needless to say, all of these days since then, we're now closing on the end of July. It has been a blur. Like, we are so out of a routine. So what happens when you take people that have been on the same routine for the last 10 years, more or less?
Basically, yeah.
And then you just kind of flip all that upside down. And we spent 2 months just kind of in suitcases without a home, technically.
Yeah.
And then now we're in my mom's home, and she makes it comfortable as she can, but it's just weird.
It's still not your home.
And all your days are just kind of weird. It's like, what are we supposed to be doing right now? And it's very highly underrated how long transitions really take. Yeah. And we don't nearly give ourselves enough. I mean, any lady watching knows that you don't get nearly enough time to recover after having a baby, or before you're just expected to be normal again. And it's even more so with people in ministry or who've lived overseas or something like that. But Puerto Rico isn't that different, and in some ways it's not, but transitions take a long time to really cover through.
So we took time
felt, even last Sunday, like I told my husband, I was like, I kind of feel out of place, and there was no reason for it. It was just not feeling out of place. Now, some of the things are less shocking at first. All the technology, and even the kids were just
why are there so many screens in gas stations here? Like, why does everybody have? Why are there so many TVs everywhere?
Why is there a robot that delivers your drinks at a restaurant?
That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, a robot that delivers drinks to people, not to our table. We didn't buy any drinks at the restaurant, just to clarify. It's like a cat face robot driving by with their alcoholic drinks on. That's weird.
But the traffic, it takes a lot longer. It seems to go somewhere. But it wasn't really any of those things. It was shocking for a little while, but that stuff has slowed down. But there's still this kind of sense of transition. We're not settled yet. We're still lacking a little bit of routine that we're used to, and
working on it, getting closer.
So, with that being said, we have found a house.
Yay!
We started. It was an interesting process. The rental.
Y'all know. You live here. You know. This is new to us, not to them.
I don't know if it's like this all over the states. But,
yes, it is.
It was incredibly difficult to just talk to a real person while trying to find a rental in the first place. We even looked at ideas of like buying and all kinds of stuff. We considered all options here. Yeah. We had a difficult time finding missions housing that allowed long-term, even a paid rental. That was not booked already for our size family.
Yeah, there's too many of us.
And so a traditional rental was the way to go. And we ended up, God provided an amazing thing that we were able to talk to a real person.
Yeah, we found a small rental company with real people. We viewed a lot of houses, and that was just a whole other experience because it's never been like that before. Like, you type in a code and to open a door, and you can go look at it yourself, and there's nobody there. And it's like,
digitally.
The code's not on the door. Sorry, whatever. And it's just weird. It was just strange. So, but this was a real person, and they're like, yeah, you can go check his house. And it's a really nice area, nicer area than some of those we were looking at. And we were like, really, that house that big for that? And we're like, there's no way, that can't be right. So we had our doubts at first. We prayed about it for a while, and then viewed a few more, and we're like, hey, it's still available, And so, there's nothing wrong with it. We went look at it again. It's like, God sent that one for us, and so.
And we say huge, but compared to, for those who don't know, compared to the island, the houses are much larger by square footage.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not. It may not be big to people here, but I'm measuring for we'll go over to measure. And we're like, that's a lot of feet.
Yeah.
Like, I need a bigger tape measure.
Compared to the size.
So no, it's not a mansion or anything. It's just a really nice house for us, and it has extra space for
and affordable,
everything we need to do.
We were expecting.
Exactly what we were expecting, which was great. Again.
Yeah. So we move in August 1st.
Yay.
And we pray that during this time period we'll actually be able to finally get a bit of a routine and start feeling normal by as much as we're going to feel normal here.
Yeah.
Now all of this, we say, we're still pastoring. He's still the pastor at the church in the island. So how's that going?
It's going great. Do I need to give more details?
Probably.
Okay, yeah, sure. So She transitioned me.
I
I'm kidding.
transitioned you.
It is going really well, actually. So Francisco is leading our services on Sundays. Last month they had something come in for the month to lead the services, to give him a little bit of a
We
break.
had them already scheduled.
We already had him scheduled, so I can do that once in a while for him and things like that. And so he came back in this month, and he told me they're really enjoying it. Pedro, who is in his 80s, is doing the music for him every week. And they told me this week, he's like, so can you start giving me some updates with you guys, like what's going on more often? So, because like Pedro looks at me every week, he's like, yeah, anybody heard from the pastor this week? Like, no, how about you? No, and they're looking around waiting for like a revelation of what we're up to. I'm like, all right, so tell them, hey, we got a house. Oh, by the way, we're not coming back in May, we're gonna come back in August. Sorry about that, but he was like, okay. So my goal is over the next year, we have every quarter have somebody coming in to help him get a little bit of a break, because he's not called to pastor the church or anything like that. He needs some time to rest in between. He's handling a regular job, family, and her aging in-laws and everything else. So he also needs to be able to take some time to rest and refuel. So we're making sure we have somebody else come in every 4 months to help him between now and when we come back. But the church is loving it. They're enjoying the bilingual Bible studies every Monday. I've called everybody in the church to talk with them, and the folks have been really faithful in coming and make sure that the needs are met, paying the rent on time. Everything's going well as far as those things are concerned. And yeah, it's weird to not be in that role, right? As I mentioned, kind of step out of your role. Our main role, whatever you call it, both of those things actually here, is partnership. So we are not. The church right now is not our main ministry down there, which is weird because it's been our main ministry for 9 years. It's been what we do. It's been what we've been dedicated to every single day, every week for years.
Well, it's still our main ministry, but
it
it's
is not our
main.
main. It is not our main ministry right now. Our main ministry right now is partnership development, and so that ministry continues, and we are pastoring and kind of coaching everybody from a distance, but we're not hands-on with it. There's nothing we can do if something really happens, like a pipe burst or there's a major issue on the island or the hurricane. We're not there. So it's not although it is our ministry, what we're presenting and sharing with everybody that God has done, that's what we're talking about. But at the moment, our ministry is our own personal needs and development right now, so that we can better go back and make that our primary ministry next year when we go back. So that's what I'm trying to say with that.
Yeah, it's still our ministry by the definition of the word.
Right.
Not everyone recognizes your partnership development as a ministry.
Is a ministry,
as well.
yeah. That is
because
our current
when you're
ministry.
Meeting with people.
There you
and
go again.
When you're meeting with people,
There's one more.
For this brief message.
Goofy scooters.
When you're visiting people and when you're visiting churches, it is a ministry as well. You're not just there saying, "Hey, give me some money." You're there to minister to them. You're also there as a mobilizer. There might be some that I consider missions. They're trying to figure out how to make their day-to-day paycheck mean more.
Yeah.
It's their choice whether they intend to partner with us or not, but it's just asking them, hey, you believe in generosity, you believe this is a biblical concept. The question is where?
Where's it
if
go?
not with us, then with who?
And not only that,
mobilizing them.
Mobilizing them in the kingdom, investing in the kingdom, but also mobilizing them in discipleship. What does that mean to you? How can you be a disciple maker where you are? We talked last night to a young man at our home church. We're going to talk to him a little bit. I won't mention his name. He knows who he is if he watches their videos. I don't know if he'll watch it or not. But I asked him about the church and I asked him about a couple of things, where he is in life. And I asked him about, what is discipleship to you? And he was kind of like, I don't know. Now, my wife tells me, hey, he's type A, and you ask him on the spot question, he wants to give you the right answer. And so I'm like, well, So anyway, one of the things we is encourage people to understand what it means to be a disciple maker where you are. You don't have to be a missionary to make disciples. Our mission is to develop and to, what's the word again? I keep forgetting. Cultivate. Yeah, that's the word. Cultivate disciple makers where we are through planting healthy churches. But everybody's not called to plant churches, but everybody is called to go and make disciples where they are. So one of our goals this year is not only motivate their funds and change their mentality about their ownership of everything they have, that it belongs to God and God wants you to use it for the kingdom, but also how can they be involved in disciple making?
Or in short, what is your mission? This is our mission.
Well, that's everybody's
What's yours?
mission.
And so if you're a Christian, the Great Commission exists, and we should be thinking about disciple making in some form. The question is, how are you directly involved?
Much more than just salvation and baptism. What about
so,
beyond that? Who are people you work with, where you live, your family, your friends, your circle of influence, your church? What does that mean to you? And so there's some key principles in that we want to make sure that people understand, that we can talk about that and share. It's more than just leading people to Christ. That's just the beginning. You don't leave a baby. All right, you're all right. Congratulations. Go feed yourself, go grow.
Change
No,
your
you
diaper.
don't do that. Yeah, good luck with that. That's not how we do that, obviously. So discipleship is the key from point A to point mature, whatever point that is. A, B, C, D, E, whatever. And we find that's lacking quite a bit in most Christians' lives. We don't understand. We didn't understand for a long time what that meant.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you do that, and what is the real goal in that, and how do you measure success? And so we're still learning some of those things ourselves, but trying to make that emphasis as well this year as part of our time, mobilizing people in every way in their ministry. And so,
while working in grace pace, living regular Sabbath, what does that actually look like practically? And then, then moving forward. So our next couple of months is trying to take all of these things and roll with that. So we have all this new training and excitement combined with people who are in transition and feeling a little out of place. So so taking the next couple of months, our official start date with beginning our full-time
partnership
development is August
1st,
and we would
we're moving on August 1st too.
God willing, to reach our goal by the end of January 31st.
Yep, pray for us about that.
And this is a goal that we have worked with our organization and stuff as well, to be able to set things for longevity and making sure all that's situated. And then taking that process and then, where am I going with it? Working on that intensively, but at the same time building in these patterns of rest and things. So
yeah, family time. Like for instance, December, we will not be traveling at all. We will be taking most of December to visit with our family, Christmas stuff.
In 6 years since
reunions, whatever else they got going on. So we're gonna be doing that in December this year and just enjoying time as a family here in the States with Christmas that's not in Puerto Rico. It's gonna be different.
We're also taking times like visiting with my dad to medical appointments and helping where needed with things like that, decisions in the family.
Andrew's been out cleaning out the shop here for Granny and finding all kinds of things, just helping family as they need help along the way. But our goal right now, 40 plus hours a week, will be partnership development. We're already making the groundwork for that and getting into that a little bit. Have some already scheduled. If you have now put up with us for 27 minutes and you we clearly care about our ministry and you would like to meet with us individually, please let us know and we'll let you know when we have some specific times in specific areas. Right now, Georgia, North Florida, over the next month or so, we're going to be doing that. There's a lot more driving down the street. Texas will be in January. Ohio will be closer next spring. So if you're in those areas and you are interested in meeting with us individually, just let us know. We will work out a detail. We'll take you out to lunch or dinner. We will take you out to lunch, dinner, coffee.
Our treat.
And I don't care if you have 9 kids. I don't care. We're good. We'll just find a restaurant with really big tables. And we'll all go have fun together. We'll go to a park, something. We'll figure something out. Something that works for everybody. We're really flexible on that, but we want to be able to spend time with you individually. If you've been following our ministry for a long time, but you've never sat down with us personally, we'd love to be able to sit down and just thank you for praying for us over the years and get to know you better individually as well. And we are based out of the Atlanta area right now, so if you're close by to the Atlanta area, we can basically come see you any day during the week. We can come out an hour or 2, 3, whatever, and just come and say hi, say thank you, get to know you. We'd love to be able to do that, talk with you more about the ministry personally.
And also many of you, if you're a part of a church that's already one of our partners, we don't always know that there's someone in the church that does that. When a church sends us their monthly partnership, we don't get a list of like who all gave to that or anything like that. We often don't actually know who within the church is praying, who is giving and things like that. We would love to just personally thank you, and if you're not getting our prayer letters directly, things like that, we would love to be able to hook up and be able to get that to you.
We'll put a link in the video here at the bottom of your screen, wherever that is for your screen, how to get more information about our ministry specifically. Sign up for our email letters. We have a hub. It's raining. That's random. No clouds. That's weird.
God says time to wrap it up.
I guess time to wrap it up, yeah. Churches, yes, we are going to churches and reporting. If you are a current supporter and you would like us to come, please let us know. We would love to come out and do that this year. So we'll be doing a lot of new churches later on in the year and mixing those together. Again, strategic trips. So I have certain times here I'll be in certain places. If I haven't contacted you already, I will be soon. But if you see this and you want us to come and you haven't asked us already, please do. We will schedule that at your convenience if we're in the area. We will do our best to make time to come out that way if it is possible. If not, we'll be happy to do a specific video for your church. And we haven't made a new Furlough video yet, specifically. Whatever, Spanish, sorry. But we will, we have plenty of slides and pictures. We could do something, send out to you, whatever. short video update, that kind of thing, if we are not able to come out. But thank you all for praying with us, for us through this transition. Thank you for supporting us and allowing us to be able to do this. Those that are giving sacrificially, financially to help us make the changes we're making right now. Again, the goal is spend this time in development, growth, and that way when we go back to the field, as God allows, we still want to go back. People are already asking us, like, are you going back? Yes, we're going back. But letting people know, it's our goal to go back healthy,
and
fully funded, with more training, and ready to do the best possible that God will allow us to do there on the field. We just do our work with excellence when we go back.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're looking at.
And longevity.
So here we are. It's a 30 minutes video, so plenty of information. Hopefully it wasn't too rambly. I don't think it was. My wife helped with transitions, and so we got like 3 points in a poem somewhere in there.
But pray for us.
Yes, please. Thank you for praying for us.
Even if you have been, continue, because it's still time of transition, still time of learning, and still time of this partnership development, and it's so vital to continue the ministry back home.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We think it's the right time. God is, again, moving in every step that we make, confirming where we're going, what we're doing next, and we're trusting Him for everything we need to do. And so we look forward to getting to know some of you guys better. So leave a comment, send us a message, whatever. We'll put a link to the hub so you can get in touch with us however works for you. And we look forward to hearing from you soon. All right, God bless. Talk soon. Are you missing the SAS videos, by the way? We haven't been doing SAS at all. Huh?
Maybe we'll have to do SAS at
we could do SAS from another church, I guess, yeah. So if you miss a SAS video, just let us know. But they won't be this long.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.